Hello my dudes, welcome back to the second channel for some fun commentary. Today, I have the shittiest landlord you've ever seen. I present to you the other Tom Cruise.
This is a story time about how I was involved with price fixing on low-income tenants' rent.
He is perhaps the most evil landlord online, and that's saying something.
Imagine an $18 million Miami mansion, a fleet of Rolls Royces, and a 100-foot yacht all paid for by the federal government. Tom Cruise has found a way to do this through a method of real estate investing known as Section 8.
This is exactly how I buy up all the affordable housing in any given area and continue to contribute to the housing crisis.
So, the other Tom Cruise is very happy to be a villain. Obviously, he leans into the rage bait. He's not afraid to say outrageous, horrendous things. That's part of the fun. And also, he has a loyal following of other weirdo losers who actually cheer on what he's doing and saying. Love that when people just tell on themselves out in the open.
Are Section 8 investors really just slumlords in disguise?
Yeah.
Have I ever evicted a single mother out of one of my properties? Oh yes! Guys, there's nobody protected in my portfolio. The elderly, the disabled, the single mom.
Tom gets the occasional hate message or negative article accusing his business model of being unethical.
Do you think it's about like the headline, like, oh, rich real estate investor doesn't...
That's exactly what it is.
property?
It's a juxtaposition of me being rich with a $20 million house, a $5 million yacht, and $3 million in cars.
Well, yeah, the juxtaposition is sickening, first of all. And yes, it's an intriguing story. Look at this disgustingly rich man who takes advantage of poor people. But of course, this is a get-rich-quick guy. This is a real estate guy. Derogatory. This is an investor land leech who does basically no work and has all the sick-ass mansions and cars to show for it.
So I thought to myself, what happens if I just buy like a little $55,000 shitbox that was in decent shape, but just maybe in a shitty part of town, and let's just see what happens. Well, 2 weeks later, I found that exact shitbox, had a very nice elderly couple living in it. I put $10,000 down on that $55,000 property, had a $400 per month mortgage, and the tenants in there were paying $1,500 per month.
His original intention was just to be an ordinary landlord, okay? Basic shit. Buy a shitbox, as he said. Then he accidentally stumbled into this Section 8 lifestyle, apparently. I take everything he says with a grain of salt because this guy sucks. At first, I didn't even know if like his house and his cars were actually his because a lot of these dudes like rent it and like they'll be filming at an Airbnb pretending it's their house. I think this is actually his money, which makes it worse. So yeah, he stumbled into Section 8 and realized, oh wait, the government is actually paying me like above market rent for this shitbox. That's sick. I should buy up as much affordable housing as I can, turn it into Section 8. Which I will say, okay, adding to the supply of Section 8 is a good thing because there's almost never enough Section 8 supply and people with the vouchers really struggle to be able to find a place to live. A lot of landlords discriminate against Section 8 users because they think that they're going to be terrible tenants. Because everyone hates poor people, right? Anyway, as it goes in the real estate game, his goal was to collect properties like Monopoly, and eventually he ended up owning hundreds of units that are Section 8 housing.
I'm generating over $1.3 million per month in Section 8 rental income. All of these LLCs were part of a larger trust that was managed offshore in the Cayman Islands for further asset protection.
Right, so he's got like a bunch of shell companies, a company and a company, property management and all this to hide his businesses. And of course, they're banking in the Caymans. So he's making bank off of taxpayer money and then he's not paying his taxes. Of course, because duh, that's how you get rich, baby. That's smart, that's money moves. I'm trying to not get too angry too early in the video, but this man sucks. I'm so mad that things are the way they are and that he can get like to be successful because it's just so evil. Anyway, speaking of, I made an email address called tooferg2furious@gmail.com. I think I'm gonna rename the channel, but I want to be able to take your submissions for this channel. If you see anything you want my commentary on, whether that is a TikTok or a theme, anything, send it there. I try to look around, see what's going on. I've got a long list of ideas, but I wanna know what you guys are coming across and what you wanna see. But now I wanna show you how I found the other Tom Cruise last year.
Yes, I make about an extra $45,000 per month from my Section 8 tenants as they pay those rents on luxury amenities, such as $25 per month for ceiling fans.
Sorry, hold on. So rent's getting paid by Section 8, thank you. Then he thought literally, I'm only getting like $1,400 a month for this shitbox. I want to be getting, say, $1,600, $1,700 a month. How can I legally charge my renters more? You can't charge them more rent because, again, they're Section 8. But what could I charge them for? Ooh, I can offer luxury amenities such as, yeah, you heard it, ceiling fans,
$40 per month for food disposals, $100 a month for a dishwasher, $50 per month for a washer or dryer.
This is why we fucking hate housing that claims to be luxury, because there's never anything luxury about it. Oh, luxury amenities such as a garbage disposal in your sink, a dishwasher, ceiling fans. A lot of people are used to paying extra for like coin-operated laundry or something, which is fucking annoying every time, but still, that's like a little more typical. But yeah, a monthly charge for what I would consider to be basic shit that should be included in your house. If you add on all of those luxury amenities, that adds up to over $300 a month. And again, we're talking about people in poverty. Fully fuck off.
Storm doors, screen doors, doesn't matter what it is. As long as that luxury amenity is not required by the Section 8 program, you can add it to the lease and tenants can pay that if they agree to it before they start.
What's it like to have a brain this fucked up and evil? How deranged are you? What's it like to be so fucking disconnected from humanity that you find joy in all the ways that you could possibly take advantage of people? Making you rich off of government money. Just like every layer of it fucking pisses me off.
Guys, I'm teaching you exactly how to do this. The link's in the bio, spots are limited. Let's get it.
And of course, this dumbass has a course. He can teach you how to do it, how you can become a Section 8 landlord.
The ceiling fans that we rent out on a subscription basis.
The ceiling fan on a subscription basis. The tech industry has ruined us. We're in hell.
We actually don't buy from Home Depot. We get it from the Habitat for Humanity Restore.
Okay, shopping secondhand.
Which typically we're picking them up for between $10 and $15 a pop.
They're buying a fan for $10 and then charging $300 per fan per year. Love it.
And when tenants do get ceiling fans, they can't just get one for their house, so they typically get 4, so we get about $100 per month for 4 ceiling fans on our subscription plan.
Again, going back to that classic idea of how expensive it is to be poor, imagine having to spend, when again, you're on Section 8, so you're very low income, imagine having to spend an extra $1,200 a year of the very limited funds that you have just to have ceiling fans, just to have a light and some airflow in your bedroom or the living room. God forbid, again, you want a garbage disposal or a dishwasher. Like, even if you're middle class or even fucking rich, yeah, imagine having to spend that kind of money for your stuff. When you can like afford to have your own house or even like afford to, you know, buy whatever you need for your place, you can go, oh cool, I can buy, again, a ceiling fan if I wanted to for $10, or I could go to the store and buy it brand new for $50 or even $100. That's a one-time purchase that you can make, and then you have something that you can use. Versus when you're so poor that these fuckers can take advantage of you and charge you a monthly subscription for a fucking ceiling fan. This is the type of shit that people do not understand about what it is like to be low income or be in poverty. People are like, oh, just to manage your budget better. Oh, poor people have cell phones. Oh, poor people occasionally get their nails done or buy clothes. They're also getting fucking raked over the coals to have basic shit in their home that's probably barely livable because these fucking landlords are horrendous.
Some other people were saying, well, I would just go ahead and put my own ceiling fan in the house. Well, yeah, we do quarterly inspections, so when we noticed that you had a ceiling fan that wasn't part of our subscription service,
well, we rent our ceiling fans. Shut up, nerd.
We would cite you, you'd have to remove it, and if you didn't, we would simply evict you.
You just know the dudes who grow up to be like this are the biggest fucking losers. They're such losers, and they're so fucking desperate for validation. That's why they're so obsessed with getting rich, because they think that that's gonna get them some respect. And then even getting rich, they still have to fucking hop on TikTok like this. They know they're being atrocious and pathetic, but they are just so starved for attention that they're like posting rage bait for a drop of clout. You're so fucking sad and insecure, even after being rich and successful. Get a life, literally. Do anything. But anyway, again, yeah, you can't even buy your own ceiling fan. You don't even have the option of saying, oh no, I don't want that subscription. I'll opt out of that. I'm actually gonna save up some of my money and buy my own fan. Thanks. No. And quarterly inspections, these fucking dudes are coming through your place every 3 months. Again, these are such big parts of why so many people hate renting and how dehumanizing it can feel to not have control over your living situation. And so many landlords are gleeful that they do control you in that way. They love that they can threaten to evict you for something like having a fucking fan in your house. Just letting you know they could ruin your entire life at the fucking drop of a hat. Let's continue. Other Tom Cruise is very well known for these like villainous hooks. Again, he is totally fine being the bad guy. He loves it. He relishes it. He loves saying just outrageous shit, such as,
y'all, $48,000 per year is the ideal level of poverty if you decide you want to be poor.
the obvious rage bait of saying that people decide they want to be poor. But also this point about, oh yeah, $48,000 a year, that's ideal. That's the ideal level of poverty. Like, that is low income for many places, and it's definitely not easy to live off of that. But for example, in North Carolina, where many of his properties are, to qualify for Section 8 on that income, you would have to be a family of 4, living off of $48,000 a year. Which, as we know, like, that's a tough salary for single people these days. The cost of living is fucking crazy. Again, I know it's all rage bait. I know I'm falling for it. But at least making this video is not giving him any more engagement on TikTok, so if you do go check out his page, do not leave any comments. Don't give him any of the satisfaction. Leave your comments here. Thanks. Give me the engagement.
For example, on the Section 8 program, if the rent's $1,800 per month, you're probably going to pay between $25 and $75 out of that $1,800. At $48,000, you're also going to get assistance from the government with your food, your telecommunications, your transportation.
Side note, him always showing like the background, like his view outside and like the marina and the boats and this ugly ass fucking cheetah art or whatever. Rich people never have taste.
That is why I love the Section 8 program so much, because all you gotta do is play the Monopoly game.
Why do you own this fucking tacky ass Monopoly? What the fuck is that? Dork. Pulling it up. You gotta play the Monopoly game.
And then you guys, the American taxpayers, will subsidize it all indefinitely.
His strategy is really interesting because in some ways he's like rage baiting to, I guess, his fans who are typically like the anti-welfare types, the people who are against any kind of social safety nets or programs. So it's like, he's like, yeah, look at these leeches living off the government, even though I'm the leech getting that government money. And then of course all of this implies that people are just living off the government, like everything's paid for, housing, food, like they're chilling. It's actually super dope to be poor. It's a great lifestyle. Famously.
That's why when you go to these low-income neighborhoods and you see these $80,000 cars sitting out front of a $60,000 Section 8 house, is because they've kept their income low, receive max benefits from the federal government, and then buy whatever they want.
Right. The welfare queen's myth. Classic. The reality is, programs like this are crucial and life-saving. They're the reason that many people are at least decently housed and fed. Programs like Section 8 definitely don't go far enough. Many more people need housing support. But anyway, to pretend that poor people can just go out and buy whatever they want is obviously insane. Again, it's the welfare queen myth that actually people on government benefits are secretly either not poor, so it's just fraud, and they're just stealing money from the government, or they're having a bunch of kids in order to, you know, keep getting those checks. Again, famously, a great money-making strategy is having more kids that are expensive to take care of. Super easy profits there. And again, if you're poor and you've ever like enjoyed your life for a second, if you've ever had a treat, if you've ever bought a TV or a phone, that proves that you must not really be poor, right? And by the way, oh my god, most of the TikToks from today's video are from like the last month. He posts so often, he posts so much atrocious shit that there was just like every TikTok I was like, yeah, I gotta save that. So again, he's always popping off. He's always got shit to say. There's a lot of material. Next up, other Tom Cruise has an absolute disregard for human life, complete disregard for his tenants as people. Surprise, surprise.
My tenant named Darren decided he was gonna get so inebriated he was gonna pass out in my rental property with a lit cigarette in his mouth. Well, that cigarette fell out, caught him on fire, he burned alive along with the remainder of my rental property.
Imagine telling the story of someone dying in a house fire and focusing on how that inconvenienced you.
One of my Section 8 tenants died in one of my rental properties this morning. The police went over there for a welfare check. Nobody had heard from her in over a week. She had unfortunately removed herself from the gene pool, and they called it a protein spill situation.
Again, the TikTok censorship. I know we have to be careful with language because of these stupid algorithms, but it's just so much more dehumanizing to hear people's tragedies and even deaths described in these ways. It's dystopian.
The good news is, this gives me an opportunity to show you what happens step by step in the event of a fatality in one of your rental properties.
So yeah, this was very inconvenient for me because now I actually have to do some work and arrange for hazmat cleanup, which always covered by insurance. So really there's no problem at all, but I'm making this about how it affects me.
Step 3, the Section 8 program will continue to keep paying the rent on your deceased tenant up to 90 days from when they receive the death certificate, which is great news because now you get 90 days of free rent.
Oh wait, actually this is good news. Actually, your tenant dying is one of the most fantastic things that can happen. Good for you. More free money.
And then about 2 weeks at the end of that period, you can reoccupy that house with another tenant. And in most states, you do not need to disclose that somebody died in that property. So that's how you create a win-win situation out of a bad situation.
Excuse me, your tenant died. How's this a win-win situation?
My tenant just got locked up, and this is how me and my property management team handles when an asset gets incarcerated.
Again, take it with a grain of salt. We don't know if any of this is true. It's easy to fake a text conversation and make up a story. But let's pretend, first of all, referring to your tenants as assets. Love that.
My manager texts me, bad news. Pedro on 5th Street just got arrested. He thinks it's immigration related. Are we saving him or replacing?
Saving or replacing? What do you mean?
And I have 760 properties across 4 states, so I needed to know if this is North Carolina or South Carolina.
Just has to flex on us. I have so many properties, I have no idea who that is.
And of course, I need to know what was his Section 8 rent and what were the amenities that this tenant was paying. His total rent is $1,800 per month. Fortunately, he's disabled, so Section 8 is paying 100% of that.
Fortunately, he's disabled. Again, great for me.
His total monthly net value to us is $1,925. His lifetime value since he's been a tenant is over $44,000.
Capitalism is brain rot. Again, these dudes think they're winners for thinking like this. They think they're the only people who are smart enough to hack the system and figure it out and read all the rules and find the loopholes. And like they're businessmen for thinking of people as assets and what is your value. We're doing the math in iMessage, baby. It's like newsflash, many people could also figure out the most evil way to operate and live their lives, but other people don't want to be like Lex Luthor, you fucking clown.
He said he's 71 years old, he has no plans on leaving, apparently he's a non-smoker, non-drinker, and best part of all, no dependents. And we do buy actuary data from insurance companies so we can project when a tenant will die.
Sorry? That's legal? Excuse me? They're using actuary data from insurance companies to project when tenants will die. Awesome. Again, I'm like, wow, you're so smart and that's not like evil or fucking sick at all.
In this case, this tenant has another 108 months to live.
I love how he says that like as an absolute.
If you multiply that by $1,900 per month, you get over $200,000 in value out of this tenant. So the math is mathin'. So I instruct my property manager to call Lenny, our immigration attorney, to have them bail out Pedro so we can continue to keep cash flowing off this tenant.
Actually, dude, that's really fucking sick. The news would put this on as a feel-good story. Tonight at 9, local landlord bails his tenant out of jail from the goodness of his heart. And he projected the remainder of his life has a value of $200,000. Again, I'm like, I don't know if this is true. I guess ultimately this is a good thing, especially if this is related to recent ICE fuckery. I don't want Pedro to be locked up for being an immigrant. I want him to continue living his life. But yeah, Tom, in addition to his villain stories, also occasionally likes to sprinkle in like a hero tangent. So like this, oh, I saved my tenant from jail, allegedly. Sometimes he'll post that he does like a free rent month just because he can. Happy 4th of July, no rent. Again, he posts like screenshots of some texts, apparently. We don't know if that's real. It's just confusing. I'm like, do you want to commit to the bit of being the most evil landlord? Or do you want to look like a good guy? Anyway, next he tells the story of how he monopolizes the Section 8 housing market.
Have you guys ever heard the expression, big bank take little bank? That's exactly what was happening here. Anytime that I listed a property, let's say I wanted $1,400 for it, and the housing department came back at $1,200, guess what? I was either going to be ripping that property off the market along with every other available piece of inventory that I had for Section 8.
It's so awesome that people are able to do this. It's so awesome that the most unhinged, deranged people who happen to have money because of how unhinged and deranged they are. It's awesome that money is power and that you can just buy up all the affordable housing in the area and then force the government to pay you more.
I had so much of their available inventory that if I took all my properties off the market at any given time for the Section 8 Housing Authority, it would cause a vacuum. No one else would have available properties at that town at that time to be able to fill the demand for Section 8.
Again, capitalism is sick. This is dope. I'm gonna buy the course. I love how tenants trying to organize together and like, you know, do a rent strike or fight for themselves, like that's seen as evil and unconscionable. Like the news will be like, oh my God, these bad tenants, think of the landlords, like you have to pay your rent. But then motherfuckers like this can pool all their dumb rich friends together and be like, hey, let's make this housing monopoly worse and twist the arm of the government forcing them to pay us more. Again, awesome that that's the way this works. Super sick. Next up, here's an example of one of these shitty houses that they are renting on Section 8.
As an example, this house in Milwaukee, Wisconsin is listed for $99,900. Featuring a little bit over 1,000 square feet, 3 bedrooms, and 1 bathroom, this property definitely isn't the nicest. It literally has a broken front door. But with a small amount of work, this house would definitely pass a Section 8 inspection.
So bleak that they're like, this house fucking sucks, but we could like barely paint it and it'll pass the inspection.
By the way, in Milwaukee County, a 3-bedroom property gets rent paid of $1,392 a month. And with a mortgage payment of $745 monthly, this house would cash flow heavily.
This house would cash flow heavily. $600 a month in profit, again, before like taxes or any other expenses. That isn't that much money. Like if you're running a business, that's not much. What about the cost of maintenance? Oh, am I kidding? You're not gonna be doing any maintenance. Who cares about these broke tenants? They can live in filth. And duh, you're not just buying one shitbox. The plan is to buy hundreds of them. $600 times a couple hundred equals lots of money, stupid. Buy my course.
How many hours a week would you say you're working?
I would say between like property acquisitions, handling my property managers, anywhere from 4 to 6 hours per week.
4 to 6 hours a week. Hey, I'm anti-work. I want people to be able to work the lowest amount of hours possible, but fuck this guy. It's hilarious because like when it comes to landlord criticism and people being like, landlords don't do any work, then the landlords come out and they're like, actually, yes, we do. We do at least a couple hours of work a week. What does that work entail?
Every Friday, I have a 2-hour meeting with my property management team on Zoom. And then during the week, it's mostly acquisitions. I'm looking for properties, negotiating properties, I'm talking to agents, dealing with all that.
I work very hard. I have to hop on Zoom for at least 2 hours a week, okay? Again, it's just beyond sickening that these stupidly rich people making extreme amounts of money are not earning it. Of course they're not earning it. They do the least amount of work. Their whole point is about offloading as much labor as possible to other people at the cheapest wages possible. And yes, money makes money. You can just literally start playing with fake money. You use more money to borrow other money and then you build this empire of near Ponzi scheme fucking nonsense. And I hate that dudes like this feel validated. They feel like they've won because they're literally playing Monopoly in real life and not realizing that the game was actually a critique of capitalism because they're fucking stupid. Same with how they love American Psycho, don't realize that it was a satire. You're not supposed to actually root for that guy and like align with him. Psycho, remember? Use some of your money for like actual therapy, please.
My next question, are Section 8 investors really just slumlords in disguise?
Oh, yes.
Unsurprisingly, this dude does have quite a number of violations under his companies. These journalists have tried to track down, you know, a lot of the complaints, but it's hard because again, he has a lot of shell companies to hide his assets and obfuscate, you know, who owns what. Many of the homes Cruz owned in Wilmington were in poor condition. Residents complained about shoddy repairs and reported paying out of pocket to fix problems. Even when he did order fixes, they were aimed at just getting past inspection. Of course, that's the name of the game. Literally, why would you do more than the fucking bare minimum when all you have to do is pass inspection? Why would I waste money making people's houses actually livable? Ew. He told attendees during a free webinar, I don't renovate, I don't remodel, I don't do anything. That's true. Maybe some light painting and landscaping. And again, he's not doing any of that work. He tells his property manager to book some contractor. He told the virtual class, normal tenants with a pulse wouldn't fork over $1,400 a month to live in a home worth $60,000, but the government does. It's impossible not to repeat myself and just be like, how are you so fucked up and evil? I want to call your parents. I have some questions. This investigation found Wilmington frequently cited Cruz for housing code violations. They often couldn't reach him to address issues, so they would bid out the work, fix the problem, impose a lien, and take Cruz to court for payment. As they say, they have to spend a bunch of taxpayer resources to essentially do property management for his stupid fucking houses. And after all of that, he ends up only paying small fines. First of all, these fines should be way higher. There's gotta be more ways to punish shitty fucking slumlords for things like this. It's hard because it's like, oh, like remove them from Section 8. Then he would argue, oh, well now you're just removing Section 8 supply and that's just gonna screw over the tenants even more because they're gonna have no options. Again, this is the problem with the monopoly as well. One person should not have so much control over an entire city's housing supply. One property file states, no running water, no power. There are also children in the residence. There's no heat and landlord Tom Cruise won't fix it. Tenant is disabled. Fuck you. I'm sorry, this actually isn't like a light fun commentary video today. It's actually incredibly depressing and bleak. One woman was moved into one of his properties with a newborn baby and realized the central heating wasn't working. 2 weeks later, the Hot water heater broke. There was a bug infestation, she said, and she grew concerned about a gas leak, but struggled to get anyone to address it. I thought I was going to wake up dead. It was freezing cold. She considered living in her car instead, but you can't live in a car with a baby. They'll take your kid away. It's just fucking atrocious. And again, these are real people's lives. People are living in these properties. They are struggling. They can't even enjoy the basic like safety and comfort that should come from home. And just because you're on Section 8 and the government is paying a lot of your rent, that doesn't mean that your standards should be any lower. I don't usually believe in karma, but in this situation, I'm like, sir, you have a fucking mountain of negative karmic energy coming your way, and you deserve it. Anyway, he responded to this article.
Look, mama, we made it. The Rolling Stone magazine wants to write a piece about your boy, Tom Cruise.
The other Tom Cruise. And also it wasn't the Rolling Stone. It's a North Carolina publication called The Assembly. Very weird that you'd just make that up. Side note, that weird little kid who made a video interviewing him, he mentioned the Rolling Stone article, which is not Rolling Stone, and he included this screenshot, which must be fake because the article doesn't exist, which means the kid like photoshopped it. And I'm just like, you're licking too many boots, dude.
Of course, it's going to be negative and very sensationalized, and they even gave me the courtesy of sending me an email and telling me about what they're going to write about your boy.
Yeah, that's called journalism. They're fact-checking and giving you a chance to respond to these allegations.
I figured it would just be a lot easier to send them this TikTok and
hey man, your place is really echoey. Figure your shit out. It's actually hilarious to think of how many rich people live in these like cavernous homes. They're like, no, I'm really comfortable. This house is fucking dope.
Okay, number one, in Wilmington, I got over 100 code violations and I paid almost $7,000 in fines. Guys, this is grossly inaccurate. I had almost 150 violations and I paid about $9,000 in fines.
Again, I'm like, those fines should be way fucking higher. That's the thing. Rich people, they get a ticket for speeding or anything and it literally does not matter. It does not hurt them. They don't care.
2, the city's chief code enforcement officer told Rolling Stone magazine that I was the biggest landlord problem at the time.
Again, not Rolling Stone.
When you're the largest single-family residential investor in a city, which I was, then yes, there will be times when you have proportionally more reports than other landlords that only have 1 or 2 properties.
He's like, yeah, I was the biggest landlord with problems because I was the biggest landlord. It's like, that's not a flex, dude.
Because when I was growing and I was learning all this through trial and error, I did not have enough property managers. So yes, at certain times we did have more reports than normal because we had so many more single family properties than everybody else.
Yeah, we had some violations, but that's because I was still learning. I was a baby landlord. We didn't have enough property managers, duh. So you agree you weren't managing your properties. Not helping you beat the slumlord allegations.
3, Rolling Stone magazine
Not Rolling Stone.
reached out to one of my old tenants and said that she was living there with a baby with no hot water and no heat. This is grossly inaccurate. It was a single mom and she had 2 babies living in a house with no heat and no hot water.
You're literally a sick, sad little clown.
Number 4, do you stand by your TikTok commentary that you love exploiting poor people? Oh yes, and I don't just enjoy exploiting poor people, but middle income people, upper income people. Furthermore, if I didn't enjoy exploiting low income people in the middle class and the American taxpayer, then who's gonna pay for my 100-foot yacht? Who's gonna pay for my $300,000 Lambo?
Frankly, there's nothing less impressive than like recording your own little video, selfie style. Me in my garage. Y'all are all still trying to be Ty Lopez.
Who's gonna pay for my $750,000 Rolls Royce Phantom?
Just a sad, small little man who has to show off his big, big cars. Okay, lastly, I have a couple clips again from that interview with that kid boy. He's got like a get rich quick channel and he got to interview the other Tom Cruise. What an honor.
Tom had just stumbled across a real estate deal in a bad area of Wilmington, North Carolina.
Oh, for the bad area B-roll, you have clips of black people, of course, right? He uses a lot of stock footage otherwise, so this was like a very intentional choice. Just putting your racism out in the open.
That cash flowed heavily due to having a tenant so poor that they qualified for the Section 8 program, along with that EBT lifestyle.
You're wrong!
And he's an incel loser, right? Very Andrew Tate, very American Psycho. Again, misunderstanding the movie. These guys just make it so immediately clear that they're clowns. I love it.
Trashing houses, people, let's say, doing illegal stuff.
What kind of issues can present?
Probably the most viable feature is our crime integration.
As I kept watching this video, I was like, why am I surprised? This must be some fun little racist inside joke with his viewers. That's just so crazy because I would have thought that the aspiring landlord was actually a really good person. Fuck. Disappointing. And again, it's like, to collect all this money for what? To buy ugly ass mansions, ugly ass cars, and of course the biggest flex that you've got money to literally throw down the drain. You gotta get a yacht.
So the overall dock space is about 85 feet, which is about the property line width. And when I brought her here, being at 100 feet, she obviously was gonna be encroaching, so.
Damn, dude, that's so fucking sick. That's crazy that you have such a big yacht.
The owner of this lot was not too pumped that I was overstepping on his property. So as you can see, my swim platform goes over by, I don't know, 6 or 7 feet. And
so he explains how his yacht is just so big, you know what I mean? That it actually goes into his neighbor's property, and he negotiated to pay $10,000 a month.
they are charging $10,000 per month to rent out his water rights here.
No way.
Yeah.
And you don't even mind spending 120 grand a year to have your boat in your neighbor's yard a little bit. Really good uses of money here.
This costs $100,000 a month, pretty much. Like
Between $90,000 and $100,000 a month is what I use to keep
Really?
her afloat, yeah.
Yacht costs 100 grand a month. Rich people are awesome, you know? I aspire to be that way. I wish I was spending $100,000 a month on a yacht. Oh, though I will say, the one thing is, I do actually prefer when rich people spend their money rather than just hoarding it. Like, I'd rather it get paid out to people. Like, some people are making a living because this dude has a fucking yacht. One very, very small concession for the other Tom Cruise. I'm like, yes, keep it up. You know what? Get another yacht, please. And put all the crew on there. We love creating jobs. You know what? He actually is such a fucking philanthropist. Anyway, this was one of the most infuriating things I've had to film in a while, and that's really saying something. I hope somehow you enjoyed this. I thought that this would be like releasing all the hatred and disdain I have for this man, but it has only multiplied. I need to block him from my algorithm now. Anyway, thanks for watching another Too Ferg Too Furious, I don't know if I'm gonna change the name, video. Hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe, please leave a comment, and stay tuned for more fun casual commentary videos. Ow. Okay, thanks, bye!